Big changes could be coming to Barnstable County government. We have details about a new proposal, and town leaders are working together to find more solutions for homelessness in our region. Plus, could a new bridge help alleviate traffic coming on and off the Cape? These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Thursday, January 9th, 2014. I'm Sarah Mantle. A new plan to restructure county government will go before the Barnstable County Assembly of Delegates next week. The committee tasked with creating the plan nailed down the final details at its meeting yesterday. The plan calls for an elected executive county head, which many have dubbed the mayor of Cape Cod. That position would be elected to 4-year terms and would replace the existing 3 elected county commissioners. An 11-member county legislative panel would also replace the existing 15-member Assembly of Delegates. Barnstable's delegate on the Assembly, Patrick Princey, has some concerns about the new plan.
We're not talking about a budget the size of the town of Barnstable. I mean, we're talking about roughly a $28 million budget. So to have all that, and how much would all of that cost, would the salaries increase and so forth, is a lot, especially at the top level when you have an elected representative, then you have a finance director, then you have an administrator, and there's just, in my view, county government should be delivering services directly to the people. So, monies are better spent on the services that the county can provide than on salaries and so forth. So that's just my personal view, but I will not stop this from going forward to the voters.
For the plan to go before voters, it would need to have the support of the county commissioners, the Assembly of Delegates, and the state legislature. Precinct 13 Town Councilor Jen Cullum is not shying away from tough issues. Cullum serves as the Town Council liaison to the Human Services Committee. She says addressing the drug problem in our community is extremely important.
So we are in the process now. You probably, if you tuned in to the Town Council meeting a few meetings ago, Casey Myers from the Cape Cod Times came and spoke with us about her kind of bird's eye view of what she sees the problem is in our community, our Cape community, not just Barnstable. And we're kind of doing an overview. We had the chief of police come and talk to us last time. I think it's the 14th, is the second Tuesday this month. We're having Dr. Mary, the superintendent of Barnstable Schools, come and talk to us about what her plans are to mitigate and help children, and also the youth commission will be there. So we're hoping, and then we're hoping to have someone from Duffy and maybe someone from Cape Cod Hospital and maybe a pharmacist come in and talk to us about where they see we could make improvements or what needs to be tweaked or whatever. Probably a bad choice of words there. But so I am really looking forward to getting a more comprehensive view and maybe figuring out a way to mitigate things at the school level to prevent more addiction, or at least stem the tide.
Cullum says the public is welcome to attend all Human Services Committee meetings. The meetings are held the second Tuesday of every month in the Selectmen's Conference Room at 4 p.m. Another issue that is important to Cullum is addressing homelessness. Cullum says she recently traveled to Salem to see what they are doing to address the issue. According to Cullum, that trip was organized by Elizabeth Werfbane, the executive director of the Main Street Business Improvement District.
Searching for a way to make Main Street a vibrant and safe and successful place for small business people, and I applaud that. That's definitely in my bones, part of my DNA for sure. And one of the issues is obviously the shelter being so close to Main Street and the spillover, as it were. And if you go from there into human services issues, which is really easy to do, we have people in the woods, blah blah blah. So our model, our shelter model, this whole thing is kind of on the presumption that our shelter model is kind of a broken model that no longer works. Right. And so in an effort to find maybe a streets to part-time job or streets to success program, Elizabeth went out and found a model called Life Bridge that's in Salem, Massachusetts. Now, I mean, I think on some levels it's really exciting. On other levels, we have to proceed with caution. Certainly we couldn't take their model and just impose it on Hyannis and expect it to work. But I have to applaud the town. The chief has gone to Salem, the town manager, the assistant town manager, Rick Presby's gone. Everybody is really interested in moving forward with something that could help people really. and not just give them a bed interminably that leads to nothing. So if you
To learn more about the LifeBridge program, you can visit lifebridgesalem.org. The Army Corps of Engineers is evaluating a plan that calls for a third bridge to be built over the Cape Cod Canal. Barnstable This Morning host Sarah Colvin sat down with Glenn Cannon from the Cape Cod Commission to get his thoughts on the plan.
And there was a proposal that kind of came to light in December about building a new Sagamore Bridge, a tandem Sagamore Bridge. So what can you tell me about this plan?
I can tell you, I think it's all good news. You know, we've been talking to MassDOT for years about a new bridge, and up to this point, they've always been hesitant to do that. I think more of a cost factor than anything else. I think they've recognized the troubles there. They've also asked us to come back and take a look at the different quadrants to see what could be done for like low-cost solutions. You know, we have done that. We just completed, we're still in the process, I'd say, of the Bourne Rotary reconfiguration. Wasn't well received. I got to be quite honest about that. There's a talk about the Belmont Circle. So we're working on all the quadrants around the canal area, but there just is no easy solution.
Absolutely.
The solution is a new bridge, so I think they finally realized that. You know, they've come to light with that. I still think there's a long way to go. You know, one thing about it that I think a lot of people don't realize is the bridges are under the control of the Army Corps of Engineers.
Right.
So they have final say. I don't know where they stand exactly. We've had some discussions with them. I know they were in favor of a new bridge. You know, I think they may want to talk about location and details of it, which, you know, there are a lot of details on it.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, there are, all right. And there's a lot of discussion that's going to have to happen. You know, one of the things I haven't seen any discussion about either, and it's always been a sticking point, has been Sandwich Road. So on the Cape side of the canal, the road connecting the Bourne Bridge to the Sagamore Bridge, you know, is congested for numerous hours every single weekend.
Absolutely.
Backed up, you know, the entire length. So I haven't seen any plan for that, how that's going to affect it. So you know, we have a lot of detail to work on.
Absolutely. And so the plan, kind of as it's in its discussion stage right now, is not necessarily to replace the Sagamore Bridge, but to build an almost a twin Sagamore Bridge right next to it, which would kind of minimize the amount of new roads that would have to be put in and land takings and things like that. So can you tell me some specifics of what is on the table right now?
Yeah, that's what we know of right now, is that they plan looking at a twin bridge right beside the Sagamore Bridge, which is also another concern of ours at the Cape Cod Commission. You know, the bridges we have today are very iconic. People recognize those. We want to make sure that that new bridge matches what's there. Quite honestly, we don't want the standard MassDOT bridge to go in there. So we want them to spend a little bit of time designing that. But years ago now, when they're still expanding Route 3 coming down from Boston, you know, they have the design ready so that that approach can be adapted to come right over to a new bridge.
Right.
Now on the Cape side, where the Christmas tree shop is, certainly there's going to have to be some land takings there. There's going to be some impact, so we have to look at that also. But it's much less than, let's say, I've heard people talk about a bridge in the middle of the canal area where there'd be access from both sides. You'd be talking about significant land takings, significant infrastructure that's required. And in fact, some preliminary talks we had is that the infrastructure to connect the new bridge would cost as much as the new bridge. So, you know, you're really a cost factor there.
Exactly, and I think those are really all of the things that you have to take into consideration when you're thinking about a project this size. It's not just as simple as, you know, putting a new bridge over the canal. You have to think about all of the roads that connect to it and how that's going to work. So this plan really seems like you know, a smart idea. Now, why build a twin bridge instead of just eliminating the Sagamore and doing a new, wider, larger lane bridge in its place?
Well, that's one of the things to look at too. And you got to look at the cycle cost of the new bridge and then the old bridge and how much life you're going to get out of the old bridge. I know that maintenance is a big issue for the Army Corps of Engineers. I know as much as a headache it is for traffic. I give them a lot of credit because they do a good job of maintaining those bridges. You know, they are in good structural condition. They're functionally obsolete, but structurally sound. And that's the way the Army Corps looks at it. They're not highway people, so they look to make sure that it's structurally sound, and they do a good job with that. But it also costs them a lot of money. I think we're all aware of how often they're maintaining those bridges and what an impact that has on us. So that's a factor we have to think about too when we look at whether or not we are just going to replace the Sagamore Bridge or just build a replacement bridge next to it.
For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mantle.